Hi friends, come to a comfortable stance for you. Pick those good toes up, spread them wide. Press through the four corners of your feet. Pull the knees in and up, pull the navel in and up. Invite the hands in front of your heart center. Close the eyes for a moment. Find your good breathing. Find your good balance. Open eyes. We'll open with the sound of 3 ohms as you wish after inhale. Bowing to wise one within. And on your inhale, reaching arms out and up as you gently open eyes, fingers interlace overhead, palms press up toward the ceiling. Your heels lift on an exhale. Find your balance. Find a giggle with balance. Exhale, release the heels and the arms. Notice your feet. Notice your knees. Notice your navel center. Notice your shoulders. Inhale, out and up. Fingers interlace, palms to sky. Exhale, hands move behind you, taking hold of your elbows or almost your elbows. On an inhale, open your heart. On an exhale, turn to one side. Inhale, open up, look up a bit. Exhale, gaze behind you, maybe up. Follow, inhale to center space. Exhale, other side. Inhale, gazing up. Exhale, gazing behind you, maybe up. Inhale, brings you center. Release those good arms. Inhale, out and up. Fingers interlace again. The palms press up to the sky. Even the pinkies and the thumbs are touching. Exhale, bring the hands behind you. And this time you choose. Hold elbows, almost elbows, or see about bringing palm to palm. We'll start low and eventually we'll move up behind the heart. And your palms press together. Inhale opens your heart as the palms are in back salute, Prastanjali. Exhale takes you to the first side. Inhale, gazing up a bit. Exhale, gazing behind you, maybe up. Inhale brings you center. Exhale, other side. Slow, steady breathing. Inhale brings you center. Exhale, releasing arms. Inhaling, out and up. Fingers interlace, palms to sky. Exhale, heels lift. Slow, steady breathing now. Follow your next exhale to Ardha Utkatasana, half squat. Remember your options for your arms, your hands. Check in with those good feet. Notice second and third toe in line with heel. If you wish, begin to lift the arms. Engage the thumbs a bit. Remind navel center to stay involved. Ardha Utkatasana, half squat, chair pose. Inhale, fingertips reach near the toe tips. Some of us like to use blocks here or find books or whichever you may have at home. We'll start by stepping the right foot back to lunge, pull in and up through inner edges of thighs, push back through heel. Some of us will bring the back knee down to modified plank. Some of us will step to high plank, pull in and up through the core, push back through your heels. Again, some of us may bring knees down. Others will move to the mat, almost to the mat, and push our way through to the Sphinx or the crocodile if you bring your forearms down, or you can come up to your cobra. Take a peek at those toes, see what they're up to. Invite second, third toe in line with heel, and then open your heart and find the gaze that makes sense for you. Follow your exhale to child's pose, or if you like, go right up into your downward facing dog. Of course, there's a modified dog if you wish. Balasana, breathing, reminding brain and breath to work together as best friends. On an inhale, if you're in child's pose, move forward to table. Some will take the modified dog, some will go up and back to the full dog. Press your heels toward the mat, press your hips toward the wall behind you. Feel your fingers spread wide, maybe even your fingertips press down a bit. Lift your left heel up in line with your left hip, and if you find the wall, you may have to adjust yourself a bit. As you gaze to thumbs, pull the elbows in, and then pull that top knee in and underneath to find the runner's lunge once again, and we'll step all the way forward to half forward fold, followed by full. Head and neck releasing, emptying out anything in the way of you connecting fully with your very own breathing. On an inhale, finding your way back up to your mountain, your Tadasana, and finally Samastitihi, back to where we begin. Sun salutations. Inhale this time, the heels up with the arms. Again, fingers interlace, palms to the sky. Even the pinky fingers and thumbs are touching. Slow, steady breathing as you gaze softly to something that doesn't move. Follow your exhale to Ardha Utkatasana. Of course, some of you may be practicing full squat. Do what works for you, where your practice is in this moment. Remember, practice is allowed to change depending on what you need, depending on what body needs. Inhale, fingertips near the toe tips, left foot stepping back to the lunge, pulling it up through inner edges of thighs, push back through the heel, and find your way to the plank, followed by Chaturanga, Dandasana, and then your Bhujangasana. Slow, steady breathing. Fingers spread wide even here. Shoulders roll. Remember, they like to sneak up near the ears. And back you go to your child's pose, to your downward facing dog as you wish. You know you're welcome to bend the knees and lift the heels if that helps the legs release. Maybe the hips and the low back even. Pressing heels down, pressing hips back. Lift your right heel up in line with the right hip. As you gaze to your thumbs, remind those elbows to pull in a smidge. Pull the top knee under and step to your runner's lunge. And we'll move all the way forward to Ardha Uttanasana, followed by full Uttanasana. You may want to press the hands into the backs of the low legs, or you could take hold of your heels and gently release the answers. Let them empty out, please, at least for right now. Come up in steps or find your reverse swan dive. Hands make their way down the midline to the heart center. One more Surya Namaskar for now. Inhale, providing you with space. Exhale, releasing you. Inhale, fingertips to toe tips. It's the right foot that does the stepping. Unless you're hopping, hold the breath if you're hopping. And then breathe once you arrive. On the next exhale, through Chaturanga, inhale, Bhujangasana. Unless you're practicing up dogs, the knees lift, the feet and the toes are grounded. You know you can bend through the knees. You know you may roll over the toes. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Bending knees, gazing to thumbs, stepping or hopping to the top of your mat. Again, if you're hopping, see about holding the breath and breathing upon arrival. Making your way up the mountain, following your path. Slow, steady breathing. Releasing hands to your hips. Let your left foot ground and pick the other knee up. Bring that knee out to the side and set up for Vrikshasana, your tree pose. So of course you remember you have a few different options. Toes down, heel up. Choice 1. Full foot under your knee. Choice 2. Full foot above your knee. Choice 3. And half lotus. Choice 4. So choose wisely for you in your practice today. And find that soft gaze to a point that doesn't move. Find that beautiful, slow, steady breathing that guides your mind to this moment. Releasing whichever came before tree, releasing whichever may come after tree. Taking lesson from tree and how beautiful, still, and grand tree is. Be like tree. You can keep your thumbs at your heart center. You may find your branches. Some of us who feel tighter may want to find our goddess arms or trident arms. Some may bring palms together overhead, even creating temple or steeple mudra. As your hands make their way down the midline, we'll balance the feminine energy found in the tree posture with the masculine energy found in dancing Shiva. Some of us take this to the wall, so feel free to do that. Some of us will move right into the posture. Your hands can stay at your hips until you're ready to grab hold of that back foot. You might have a pant leg, or if you have an old tie or belt, or even a wrapped up towel, you can hook your foot. And then your other hand might come in front of you. Again, it's a soft gaze to a point that doesn't move. that holds you steady. This hand might want to press into a wall. Front hand, that is. On an inhale, come forward, shake it out, walk it out, or let that foot you were just holding onto behind you in Dancing Shiva come just above your knee and find a 4 square, some call it, or a one-legged half squat, Eka Ardha Utkatasana. Flex the foot that's up, please, so it stays active. Inhale, lift up, take it for a walk or step directly back to your high lunge. Release that back foot. Bring your hands to your hips. You may want your front foot to toe heel a little wider. It's a stand-up paddleboard trick that we do to find a little more balance. And then once we have our balance situated, we bring that front heel to make a line to the middle of back foot. Notice your hips are facing forward rather than to the side. And on an inhale, find Warrior One. Notice the back foot press into inner edge and outer edge. We tend to lean. Notice the front knee. Guide it just a smidge towards your pinky toe, so that if you were to peek down, you'd see your big toe, maybe even second, third toe. On an exhale, bring hands behind you, and now you choose. Find your elbows, almost elbows. Find Prastanjali, the back salute. Remember, palm to palm, pushing together at your heart's back of heart center. Or some of us prefer to take temple or steeple mudra. So as you do that, your shoulders roll from your ears. Your fingers are interlaced. Your forefingers are pointing. Your thumbs are stacked. Inhale, opens your heart. And exhale, bows you forward to devotional warrior. You may want your stack of books under your head or not. You may need to remind those elbows to bend a bit. On an inhale, lift your head and heart a bit. Release your fingertips to the mat and walk both hands inside your foot. Lift your back heel up. You might want to release your back knee for a moment and find your way onto your forearms. This is another place where you can add a block or whichever you're using as a prop today. If your forearms are propped up, press your palms together. If your forearms are on the floor, press your palms down, please. You may stay like this, or you can lift that back knee and push through your back heel. On an inhale, press into your palms as you lift your head and heart. You can walk your blocks to the middle of your mat as you situate your feet, or just your hands. Your feet might come a little further apart. Do bring them in line with each other, or let your big toes take a tiny step in. And on your exhale, begin to release your head towards your forearms, and your hands will hold your elbows. So you may want a block to support those forearms. You'll see how it works for you. On an inhale, lift your head and heart, and I'll attempt to show you that on the other side in case that was hard to see. And we'll walk our fingers to the back of the mat while you pivot on feet. You'll find runner's lunge, and we'll bring that back knee down again. You'll walk both hands inside your foot, and you'll release onto your prop or onto the mat with your forearms. That knee in front, which is now front, is hugging your shoulder, so it's not way far away from you. And you may or may not want to lift the back knee and press through your back heel. And And then releasing back knee, walking hands to the middle of the mat. Let's walk all the way back to the front of mat and pressing into the blocks or your mat. You may step or hop, switch. And we'll come up to high lunge. Release your back heel. Maybe do a toe heel with the front foot to take up more space and find more balance. Maybe find those goddess arms. Celebrating spring as she reminds us creation continues. Holding on to, again, your elbows. Prastanjali, palm to palm meet behind the heart center, or temple, steeple, mudra. Opening your heart, those good shoulders roll, and exhale, release to devotional warrior. If you like, take a moment to place your prop under your head. On an inhale, lift your head and heart. Fingertips release, back heel lifts, and we'll step all the way to the top of mat. Half forward fold, followed by full. Inhale up to your mountain. Each on our own path, finding our way. And bringing hands to hips to set up for tree on the other side. So the other foot grounds, the other knee lifts, and you bring that knee out to the side to wake the hips up a bit, and then make your choice, please, appropriately for you. And wherever your foot ends up, we want it above or below knee, but not on top of knee. Vrikshasana. Balancing feminine energy, remembering the stories of days gone by where the largest tree outside the village was thought to embody the feminine power to protect the village. Finding the arms that work for your balance, giggling with the shaking, celebrating any shaking, and moving into Nataraj Asana. You may find your hips, you may find the wall, you may find your prop to catch your back foot. And dancing Shiva reminds us to begin again. We fall down, we might need to stay there for a while. Some say there may have been something we were looking for down there. And eventually we brush off and we get back up and we go again. As you bring your foot forward, find your four square, or your Ekapada Ardha Utkatasana. And as you begin to lift up and out, step that top foot back to your lunge, release the back heel, find your hips, lengthen that front leg, and bring your feet to pivot to the side. Let them be in line with each other. You know your big toe might take a tiny step in. On an inhale, lengthen. On an exhale, hinge at the hips and release to the mat. You may want props here. If you have a blanket, you can always fold it. And again, we'll release to the forearms. Maybe the forehead releases. See what works for you. On an inhale, lifting head and heart and adjusting your feet so you feel good and steady. Find your outer edges of calves. Inhale, lifts the head and heart. Exhale, releases. Your elbows may bend away from you a bit. Encouraging body, mind to release anything it's been hanging on to. Oh, maybe even hanging on so tightly. It will take a bit of breathing to release. And that's okay. That's all part of the practice. Remembering to breathe. Releasing what we've been hanging onto, in particular that which no longer serves us, a little spring cleaning perhaps. On an inhale, lift your head and heart, let your fingertips ground somewhere. And now see about your peace fingers, so your index finger and your middle finger hooking your big toe. Your thumb will stay on top. On an inhale, lift head and heart a bit. On an exhale, release. Elbows can bend away from you. On an inhale, lift head and heart. And now, see about finding a little layer. If you have a cushion that's not too big, that might work. A blanket preferably folded, but remove the lumps and bumps. And we'll bring so I have the blanket under my shoulders, but also under my head. And my hands are now on the blanket closest, the part closest to me, not on the mat. And now I'm going to release where my forehead and the crown of head meet to the blanket. And then as I do so, my heels begin to lift, my elbows bend, and I push through my heels in order to begin to lift the legs. My toes are active. Slow, steady breathing. And then releasing toes to mat. Keep the elbows bent and bring the feet in a bit. Remember, you can practice your tripod this way. My hands are active, my head is pressing, and my upper back is active. You may begin to pull the knees into your midline and start to push up through your toes or your heels to find your headstand. See if that makes sense for you. We'll practice. We haven't been here in a while. And then you gently come down and find your child's pose. And inhale, begin to lift your head and your heart. And bring your arms up overhead. Let your middle finger and thumb clasp the other wrist and find crescent moon. Your ears inside your upper arm, your gaze is across from you, neck is neutral. Inhale, come center, and other side. Inhale, come center, release the hands, release one hip to the mat, and bring those good legs out in front of you. Give the knees a gentle shake if you like. And then press through your heels, press through your palms, and inhale, lift up to Dandasana, palms to sky. Exhale, release forward, fingertips claw, palms cup. Inhale, opens the heart. Slow, steady breathing. Counting the length of the inhale, counting the length of the exhale, and giving the exhale permission to become twice as long. On an inhale, fingers interlace, palms press away from you. Exhale, release the hands behind you. If possible, let the fingers reach toward you. Bring the heels a bit in front of your knees, and on an inhale, lift to your upward facing table or reverse tabletop. Gently bring your gaze to your knees, lift one set of toes to the ceiling. Exhale, release, other set of toes to the ceiling. Exhale, release the seat with the gaze. Find Dandasana again. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bring hands behind you, fingers reach toward you if possible. And as you reach your toes forward, this time we'll press into the heels, lift the low back, and your toes are reaching forward toward the floor. You might keep your gaze forward to the ceiling or even behind you. Give that low back a little nudge. Keep breathing. And exhale, release your seat to the floor. You may keep your feet, your legs as is, or you might bend the knees so that you can lower down to the mat using your core strength. Of course, make sure there's space to lower without bumping into anything. Lift your arms, lower in slow motion, and as you release to the mat, go ahead, bend your knees. Bring the feet as wide as mat. Your knees may want to touch against each other for a moment. Your arms can be long next to you or out in line with the shoulders. Windshield wiper, please, side to side. Your head stays center, and your knees move side to side. You're moving from one edge of the foot to the other. Next time your knees move to one side, keep them there. Lift the foot that seems as if it's in front of you and let it rest on top of the knee that's more with the foot that's behind you. Gazing to the ceiling or gently lifting head and turning away from the knees. Releasing through the shoulders. Slow, steady breathing. Inhale brings your head center, and then your knees make their way to the other side, where again, you're lifting the foot that's with the knee in front of you to the other knee that seems to be with the foot behind you, and you're either gazing up to the ceiling as you work on releasing the shoulders or gently gaze away from the knees. Inhale brings your head center. Undo the legs. Give them a good hug. In, hold elbows, almost elbows. Bring your nose, your forehead to your knees. Exhale, release the grip a bit. Head to the mat. 2 more. Big squeeze in. Exhale. Release, and 1 more. And finally, giving yourself permission to rest. If you'd like, a little roll of blanket under the knees, perhaps a layer of blanket over you. Shavasana, the time we gift ourselves with to assimilate all that we did throughout our practice, letting the toes move away from each other, letting the palms space open if possible. Slow, steady breathing. Eventually, the breathing becomes softer. We trust the breath to do its good work as we rest. Releasing fingers, toes, resting ankles, wrists, knees, elbows, release. Hips, jawbones, let go. Tongue resting. Giving all of the muscles in the face permission to rest. Around the mouth, around the nose, around the ears, the eyes, across the forehead, the crown of head, down the back of head. Giving yourself permission to heal ultimately. If you'd like to pause the video and take time in your Shavasana, please do. Gently wiggling fingers and toes, rounding ankles and wrists. Reaching the arms overhead and reaching so much so through the right side, you feel it become longer than left, and then gifting left side, same beautiful space. Bringing knees in toward the upper body so that you can rock and roll on the spine, the hips a bit. And finding your way to rest on one side, the bottom arm might become a pillow for head. As your top hand presses down, you find your way slowly but surely to your seated position where you'll prop if you like, where you'll layer. It can be a good idea to keep the spine warm as we move into the breath work portion of our practice. And letting your hands rest open, receiving all of that good, positive energy you've just created for yourself and therefore for others. It is contagious, that positive way of being. Kapalabhati is a sharp breath that releases on the exhale. That's the focus, exhale. Through the nostrils, the mouth is closed. You know, if there's high blood pressure or pregnancy ever, you stay with slow, steady breathing, and we'll meet you there eventually. Inhale fully and begin. So remember, it's a pulling in and up at the navel center, and it's a snapping back toward the spine. That's helping you release that exhale. All of the exhale. Slow, steady inhale. Pause a moment and release. Alternate nostril breath to balance the brain. Your right hand will prepare. The index and middle fingers bow in. The ring and pinky stay out. Your right thumb closes, right nostril, you exhale left. Inhale. Close. Pause. Exhale right. Inhale. Close. Pause. Exhale left. Inhale. Close. Pause. Exhale right. Try one more at your own pace. You exhale right, bring hands to heart-centered mudra, press thumbs into your very own heart center. Closing with the sounds for protection. Om Dum Durgaye Namaha. Join in, listen in, say it silently as you wish after inhale. Om Dum Durgaye Namaha. Om Dum be safe. May you be healthy. May you be kind. Thank you for sharing your practice. Namaste. See you soon.